dimension to the happenings in River State. The court of appeal has given judgment that the 24 lawmakers led by Amai Wule Martin is legally there to actually work as lawmakers in River State, and the other faction led by Victor Ko Jumbo, about 4 or 5 of them are not supposed to be there to serve as the lawmakers. If we look at the calculation, we'll see majority against minority, but we'll still leave these because they say they will be appealing that judgment in court very soon. I want to believe that they must have put those things in place. That's our focus today, but we'll also be looking at some of the issues that may surround it in terms of governance, in terms of legality. Those are the things we'll be looking at today. I have somebody in the studio that will be doing that, and coincidentally, he is a legal practitioner. Celestine, nice to have you on Top Point.
It's a pleasure being in the house.
Yes, the River State crisis is still unabated. We still find issues coming up. We see the legality of it. Some will say it is legal. Some will say the interpretation is not like that. And we seem to be finding issues there. Now, from the judgment, what is your own take on it as a legal practitioner?
Well, good afternoon, Nigerians. As a lawyer, we saw and we heard the pronouncement of the Court of Appeal and its pursuance to the position of the earlier court, that the 25 sacked lawmakers went on appeal to Federal High Court, and the Federal High Court, after looking at the matter, gave a ruling on the matter that the State High Court have no jurisdiction to handle the matter at the first instance. So they lack jurisdiction over the matter, and that is where we are now. So as it stands today, that the decision of the State High Court is in question, and it doesn't hold any water. But as a lawyer, I feel that that does not change the status quo on ground, because it's a mere the battle there was on jurisdiction. The Federal High Court was stating obviously that the State High Court have no power to entertain the matter. And you know, in law, jurisdiction goes to the root of every matter.
Yes, you see, that's what bothers me as a media practitioner, somebody that is also churning information out to the public. The court will say this, it will be interpreted in another way, but we seem to be saying, look, it's not all Nigerians that know the jurisdiction of where a court can. They will say a court is a court. It may be state, it may be federal, but we also have some federal courts situated in states. So it's a little difficult for Nigerians to understand. Can you just put it in clearer perspective?
No, every court have its own area of jurisdiction. That's the kind of cases they can entertain. Most of those position of the court and their powers is enshrined in the Constitution. Like I think Section 251 of the Constitution established the Federal High Court and stated the position of the Federal High Court. And if you get to section 272(1) of the same Constitution, it clears this issue you are talking about. It talked about this area of the angle of declaring vacant state seats of the State House of Assembly. But as you look at it, that's the technical aspect of it. Now, that section 272 sub 3 stated clearly that it's the exclusive position of the jurisdiction of the Federal High Court to entertain matters that determines the vacancy of in the State House of Assembly. Okay. But it does not talk about defection. The root cause of this matter is defection, because Section 109, subsection 1G, clears position of the state clearly what happens if you defect. So that 109.1G stated clearly, if you vacate your seat, if you leave the political party, defect another political party, and leaving that one that brought you to power, you used to ride into the seat, automatically, when there is no faction or crack at national level of that party, you lose your seat. you lose their seat. You have declared your seat vacant by that act. So you see, now when you look at what they're going to do in court, and that was what the fractional head of the other group are relying upon. They are relying upon 109 that states if a House of Assembly member decamped to another political party when there is no division at the national level, or when the party have not merged with another political party, is that you have assumed to lose your seat. And it goes further to say that the Speaker in the House should declare that seat vacant. You see? Now, this is where these people are standing to make their claim. That since you have defected, and there is no reason for you to defect at that point in time as far as they are concerned, you have lost your seat.
Okay, now in the first instance, let's look at it, because we're just trying to inform the public now. There was an issue between the lawmakers and the governor of Rivers State, Governor Similai Fubara, now, which everybody knew was in the media. Now, they were having a running battle with him as regards what to do, what he ought to do, not to do. And we also saw issues where some people went to the quarters to demolish it. So adding more insult to the injury, or salt to injury that was already on ground. Now, if you look at some of these things, would you say there was no faction? Would you say there was no problem warranting those lawmakers to work against the governor?
No. The constitution is clear about when you talk of crisis in political party. They are looking at national level. Parties are controlled at the national level, not states. So they have board of trustees chairman, they have chairman themselves, they have the other exco's of the political party. So at this instance, the party have no faction. PDP have no faction at the national level at that instance when they defected. Okay. So when there's no issue, now I think the motive behind this kind of arrangement for the spirit behind this event for political party, lawmakers, is to ensure that you have the freedom to operate as a lawmaker. Because if somebody, it's assumed you have an ideology. If a party merges with another political party, I think it will affect the ideology of a political party. So as a lawmaker, the Constitution gave you rights to leave the political party and join another political party, and that is how your seat is still intact. Or if there's a faction, maybe somebody is having issue of maybe there's a big dispute at the national level where somebody have declared himself a chairman, the other person declared a national chairman, the loyalty is at stake here. So at that instance, you can defect. But in a situation where there is no problem anywhere, even if there's a problem, it has not gotten to the level of splitting, and they have not splitted. So at that instance, you cannot say because you have a crisis in your state. The Constitution is clear on this. You cannot say because you have a crisis in your state that it will affect national. National is still intact. Okay. That is the position of the law. So when they now went on this flourish of leaving the political party because of a faction, factional issue between the governor and the past governor, so they took side, and out of anger or whatever, they left the party. At that instance, they've lost their seat. That's the position of the law.
They are deemed to have lost.
They are deemed
to have lost their seat. And but now the case has been reversed. It has not been reversed. Okay, what's the judgment about?
The appeal court, remember, they went on appeal when the State High Court now said, you guys have no reason calling yourself lawmakers anymore. Moreover, these same lawmakers appealed this matter there's a suit at Federal High Court Abuja over the same matter. And now, when they still went ahead and appeal this at the state level, So at this instance, the Federal High Court, Appeal Court, now said, after all, there's a substantive suit existing in the River State, River State High Court that has not even been touched. If you file it, it's all on the interim injunction that came as a result of the defection that the Federal High Court is looking at. The main matter itself, that is substantive suit, has not been touched. So they granted an interim order, stopping them from presenting themselves as lawmakers until they hear the substantive suit. They went on appeal on that ruling. And that is where they are, and that brought them to Court of Appeal. And the Court of Appeal they've not even entertained the main matter that brought them. They are talking about jurisdiction. They said that Federal High Court and State High Court have no jurisdiction to try this matter at all, to even hear the suit, to even for that it was a nullity for you to have listened to that matter. And the appeal court granted the application that the federal the State High Court have no jurisdiction over this matter, and that's where the matter is standing now.
But from what we're seeing now, Nigerians would also
remember, their seats have been declared vacant by the speaker, one of the factional speaker, and they went to court. Before they went to court, there were no longer lawmakers according to the issue on ground.
Okay.
So they were no longer lawmakers. So that's why the split in some lawyers are saying, well, as far as I'm concerned, they should go back to the original position before the matter started. But they're in court. Before you went to court, where were you standing before you went to court? You were saying that somebody said you are not no longer a House member. And somebody said, since that's where you are standing, before you now say, okay, let's proceed further, you should go back to that place. The person said you are not a lawmaker. You should stand there. Okay. And that, it's a game of interest here.
Yes, it's a game of interest, and we'll also say, if time permits us, we'll also mention one or two things. But let's quickly tackle this one. So now that this has happened, now Martin Amewule and the majority lawmakers are saying, look, Governor Siminalayi Fubara, you must present your budget. You must represent, let me put it that way, you must represent your budget within 7 days. Do they have the powers to do that, looking at the judgment?
They don't have the power because the court did not vacate that order. The court did not touch the substantive suit that brought them to court. It just said they have no jurisdiction. And they must go back to that court and state the obvious. We are already, look at what, because they fixed a date for the hearing anyway. Before they even went further, they're in court. They have to go back to that same court that pronounced this stuff, that notified them, and tell them we have gotten a new, a higher position of the law. This is where we are standing now. We are lawmakers. No, the court will not either excuse itself from there's a process to withdraw the matter from court or excuse themselves from the proceeding further on it. But going by the speaker, as it stands now, this is.
No, if you say speaker now, because we have two speakers.
So as far as I'm concerned,
so which one are you talking? You have to be specific now.
Amefla, from my own personal point of view, Amefla cannot, because they say you should maintain status quo. Status quo, antebellum states you should go to where you are standing before. Somebody have pronounced you refuse what the person said. That's why you went to court. The court is saying go back to that place you are standing. Then it means status quo. Status quo was that you were. Before they filed that case in court, they have nullified you. They've excused you from the house. So now you come into, so as far as I'm concerned, the two parties are even confused. Now, the other 4 persons or 3 persons cannot form quorum. As far as I'm concerned. They can't form quorum.
Because that's
there's a constituency. I think they have 27 lawmakers or whatever. So how can 4, so you see, the other party officially announced their defection.
Yes, but
it's on public domain, and it was voluntary. Nobody forced them.
Governor Siminalayi Fubara had to ensure that governance continues in Rivers State. So he had like 5 lawmakers, and he went to them and presented the budget, because you cannot ground the oil refinery or the oil machine, the machinery of the state. Something has to be done, or else the grassroots will suffer, the people will suffer. So he presented the budget to them. So are we saying the budget presentation he did at that particular time is null and void if these ones are calling for another budget?
You know, this matter is before court. The court knows, Nigeria, most of the Supreme Court judges, everybody is watching what is happening. This is a social environment. Everybody is following up the system. They know that there's a problem in Rivers. And I think from now henceforth, they've even appealed on this issue. The other faction have appealed on the judgment the appeal court delivered. They've appealed further to Supreme Court. So we have to wait. And I think the judgment does not in any way give powers to. I don't see where the jubilation is coming from on the part of the people.
See, from what we can see, the two parties. When I say the two parties now, the Amefile-led lawmakers and the Okodiongo are laying claim
to the position.
To
now,
the position
that's
to
why
say,
they are going further to Supreme Court. The other party have gone to Supreme Court. The other party can as well even file a suit in a federal high court. Because what the federal court said, the state have no, the state high court have no jurisdiction over this matter. It have pointed the finger towards giving you a guide on the next action you should take. So where I'm a bit concerned here is the angle of judicial rascality that's coming up at times. All these interim injunctions, interim orders coming left, right, and center, particularly on political terrain issues. On political terrain, anything that have to, you see them jumping, shopping for foreign shopping for courts that someone will run from Cross River to Rivers to Abaya. They are looking for comfort environment that will give them interim order.
That's the work of the politicians.
So, but you see, they are the ones polluting the system. They are the ones creating problems left, right, and center. Now, if the governor have not gotten issue with his, including into this cobweb with his predecessor, I don't think we'll be at this quagmire. But this is as a result of greed, excessive greed on the part of politicians. And as it stands now, Rivers people are the ones suffering all this nonsense that's going on social media. So everybody, and you can see the level of agitation in the state. They are now fighting for supremacy. Nobody is even looking at the poor masses. Nobody's talking about governance here. They're talking about leadership. And it's only when you have peace that you can talk about leadership. So nobody is talking about democracy dividend. I saw the governor the other day saying that he's not deterred, but inwardly he's deterred. It's a big problem. Nobody will tell you. There's no peace and tranquility in Rivers. Rivers is like in crisis. You have different factions making noise on a daily basis. You see them as local government. As it stands, the local governments are not working. Everywhere is under lock and key. So how can a state function with such a chaos environment? So it's a high time the president withered into this at the initial stage, at the early stage of it. And the governor even came out publicly and embraced the arrangement.
But when he went back to
Rivers, go back and they come back on that dimension of it. And you see, that's why Nigerian politics is at times funny. People speak from both sides of the mouth. You tell him, you say A here, and then you not even hear Y, you hear Z on that side. And you see every angle of it, you have supporters. Left, right, and center, they have supporters. We can have his own supporters. Fabra have his own supporters. The speaker, the other three members have their own, thousands of supporters. They don't have. So you see, the earlier we start facing, what do you call it, rule of law. And rule of law entails that anybody that goes against the rule have to be punished. It's the fear of punishment that makes people, that deter people from having excess activities. But in this case now, who will bear the cat? Everybody sounds spring. Everybody goes at full length fighting each other. The police cannot even help matters here. If you call, as you are calling the state confusion, someone is calling IG. So you see, how can a country survive like this? The country is going into comas. I don't know how this situation can be caged. If people are not held accountable for their actions, these things will not stop. How can somebody beat his chest and tell you a governor will give an instruction, somebody will counter it, a commissioner of police will give an instruction, somebody will counter it, an agent of police will give, president will give an instruction, somebody will counter it, and nobody is being held accountable? How can countries survive like this? So if we continue like this in the next 5 years, our children are learning.
Is it not, because from what you are saying now, are we not seeing over-centralization? Are we practicing?
We are not practicing,
true federalism, rather.
Nigeria is not a federal republic. It is a unitary system of government. Because the center is in control of everywhere. Now, if the governor or the state commissioner, that's why people like us, we are championing for state policing. I don't even know where they are now. Nobody even talk about state policing anymore. Now, if you don't decentralize these powers, people will be there fighting until they destroy this country. Now, if they have brought this system of regional system, where every region have, Nigeria is blessed with vast land and good resources that will enable us forge ahead for a better country. But in this case now, if the West are good with cocoa, they have coolers, they have a lot of resources in the Southwest. They not have land mass for farming. The Southeast have their the oil, what do you call it? The cassava. They have their palm oil. So the South have their mineral resources, crude oil and whatnot. If we have a regional system where every state works and pay to the federal, maybe minimum.
Are we not looking at confederation? If you are saying that confederation, the system.
No, the confederation.
Stronger regions and weak center.
No, confederation will give you something like countries within country, because you are supreme But a federal system gives you a peculiar approach where states controls their resources and give whatever they want to give to the federal. The federal is just there to handle security, there to handle maybe power issues. They are not there to implement agriculture. Where do they have the land? There's no need of telling me the federal government, where would you, Minister of Agriculture, what are you doing with agriculture? How many tractors have federal government procured for it? Let's even face the reality. They are talking about agriculture. Everybody's going hungry in Nigeria. Every human being in Nigeria is hungry. Food scarcity everywhere. I expected the governors to be proactive. Now, I expect every state governor to buy like 3,000 tractors and place 10 per local government or 20 per local government. Then set up what do you call them, cooperative for farmers. People will have access to seedlings, they'll have access to pesticides, whatever facility, then even processing plants that will enable those. But in this case now, they will buy Okada for a young. Look at Lagos. Look at all the states. Every young man is riding Okada.
Thank God that some laws help in Lagos that you ban some Okada in some areas. That has also brought some kind of sanity. What of the other states? Because it's a collective thing that must come up. Banning other states too need to do something. Even
banning it, is it solving any problem? The person you ban from driving Okada is already unemployed. And he's a veritable instrument in the hand of hunger and the criminality. Okay. Now, at the end of the day, the person will look for what to eat. Okay,
let me give you just 20 seconds now as we round up your suggestion.
My suggestion is that I think just this winner takes its own approach that is destroying Nigeria. The PDP have their executive, the APC have their executive, and Nigeria, what do you call them, the security advisor to the president. So they must come together. This is not a party matter anymore. They have to come together, sit down at a round table and address this issue. Call the president, the governor, and the past governor. The president have to be in the meeting. Don't talk about party affiliation, because this is between PDP and APC now. So the party's stalwarts have to come together with the president and sit down on a round table and discuss this issue. Because by the time rivers start getting burning, as they are planning, as they are fueling this system, by the time the rivers start exploding, Nigeria crude oil production will go to zero. And all of us will pay for it.
We're praying that it won't get to that level. We're also praying that everybody concerned will take necessary measures so that things can get better. I've been speaking with a legal practitioner, Celestine Ilo, and we've been discussing issues of the appeal court ruling in Rivers State politics and other issues that are connected with it. I want to thank you so much, Celestine, for being part of Talk Points again.
It was a pleasure.
On that note, we have come to the end of Talk Point today. It's our size, and I want to believe that we've heard all that we need to hear so that things can further get better or take shape in Nigeria. Join me again sometime during the week so that we can have another episode. I am Omololu Rosso, signing out.
The views expressed on this program do not represent that of the producer, management of Lagos Television, or the Lagos State Government. They remain the perspectives of those expressing them. Thank you for staying with Lagos Television.